It's nice when it synergizes like that. You know what I
Well,
mean?
we're pretty awesome, so
And good at our jobs.
yeah, that's what I keep telling everybody, and they're like, "Who are you? What do you do again? How did
Good
you
evening, ladies and
do
gentlemen.
this?"
This is Monkey of the Morning. I'm Monk. He's Jack. Say hi, Jack.
Hi, everybody.
Jack, how you doing, my friend?
Yeah, same old, same old.
Before we do the show, we have to do something. This is actually a couple of days old, but we haven't done a show in a couple of days, and I want to do this right at the start. It was Judith's birthday the other day. She just turned 7, and we were asked if we could sing for her. And yes, we can. Judith, sweetie, this one is for you. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Judith. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, kiddo. I hope you have a good one. Now, go play with something, because what Monkey's going to say next is really not something you should hear. Go have a happy birthday.
I think it's really important to remind anybody named Judith that they are the boss, not Tony.
You don't hear that name much anymore.
No, you don't. It's a classic, though.
It is. It really is. So
and difficult to make fun of.
Indeed. So happy birthday, Judith. I really do hope you had a good one. All right. So before the show, me and Jack were talking about unhealthy parasocial relationships. Let's call it that, shall we? You don't have to thank me, man. Happy to do it. Unhealthy parasocial relationships. And there was a post on a Reddit forum about H3H3. And this lady tells this story about how her marriage has broke up because her husband is a fan of Hassan Piker, and she's more of a fan of Ethan and Gila. And
all right, hold on. Let me stop you right there. First of all, if your husband's a fan of Hassan Piker, kick that commie out. He's going to freeload off you and never have a job. Also, you're pathetic for liking H3H3. Do better with yourself, okay?
Yeah, in the thing she says, she watches stuff where people criticize H3 because she doesn't want to be in an echo chamber, which I applaud her for.
Sure.
But her husband won't listen to any criticism of Hassan, which sounds like the Hassan fans that I've dealt with.
Yeah. They should have a mantra, something like ending the discussion right when it starts, like just chopping it off right there, like Hassan chop.
I feel like they have a mantra. It's something to do with Jews and not being alive anymore.
Oh yeah. From the
totally.
I think they say. But yeah, they just sort of they also drool a lot from what I've seen of Hassan's fans. Fairly low IQ bunch.
But I saw that there were a couple of people who didn't believe it was real, but reading the writing, I really do think that was a genuine post. Just from the way it was written and the run-on paragraphs. Holy crap.
Yeah.
But it really did come off like a real thing. And we kind of talked about this with the guy who set the one chick, her car on fire. People, don't put so much thought into we idiots on the internet.
Don't base your relationship on it. I mean, Jesus, like Ham and Beans just said, if their marriage broke up over that, there's much deeper issues. Yeah, you probably don't know your spouse well enough.
I'm not necessarily willing to go with that, with the way things are going in society. You see people get into these in groups or fad groups, as because Hassan's a fad, guys. He will fade eventually.
Yeah.
And they are loyal to a fault. It is very cult-like behavior.
Yeah, and I don't get it because he's clearly dumb.
Oh, and not just with him, with tons of different people.
Oh yeah. We see with the Tates and Amaranth and a bunch, especially the fucking booby streamers.
Yeah, their fans are fucking fanatical. They're the actual meaning of fan.
Yeah.
They're insane. And I can see these people having been normal. And if you go by what she says in this, he stood by her through depression and not having the ability to have a child, and yet they finally conceived. I can see that kind of thing happening these days where people I can't talk to you about that because that's a deal breaker for me. It's a guy on the internet.
Yeah. Get over it. Real quick, thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist donation. If your husband likes Hassan, he's just gay.
True.
Right?
True.
Also, thank you, Tall Person. Happy National Sloppy Joe Day. Ooh, that makes me hungry. Off topic, but did you hear that Marvel introduced a villain that uses weaponized fentanyl? Think he can beat Snowflame? No one can beat Snowflame. This is just a lame copy. It's going to be another sad, pathetic Marvel attempt at a new character, and it's just a knockoff of another one.
I don't know why, but when you said Sloppy Joe there, a term I've heard my whole life, for some reason my brain went to a, let's call it, adult spin-off of Facts of Life.
Huh.
I don't know why my brain chose that moment to make that connection.
Right? Well, that's okay. You're roboting a little. Is that you or me?
It's probably me because I'm not hearing you do it at all.
Oh, okay. There's an adult version of Facts of Life. You have to look that up.
Oh, I wonder if there is. If they have one that has a chick who kind of looks like Nancy, what's her name? Then
Nancy
let me know.
Reagan.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
anyhow. I'm really wanting to go watch that Shoe on Head thing, and I think we'll just do that tomorrow on the stream.
Oh,
because the last time we did a Shoe on Head video, it went very well. From now on, we're just going to react to Shoe on Head to keep an audience. We're going to play the algorithm, my friend. No, Shoe on Head just came out with one a little while ago called the Female Dating Strategy. And apparently a while ago, she did one about guys who freak out at women when they reject their advances. And this one's all about women doing the same thing. And it is amazing how much more violent the female ones are. Because the guys are always like, oh, you're just an ugly lesbian or something like that,
Yeah.
She starts off with, I hope you die in a car crash.
Chicks are meaner. That's all there is to it.
But it does. A lot of these women, it's because they're rejected. And if you guys have never rejected a woman before, try it just once. Because they do not take rejection well at all.
No,
at all.
Especially these days, because society has inflated the female ego so much that they feel entitled to what they want, and your rejection of them is antithetical to the programming.
Thank you, Tall Person. Happy National Lacy Oatmeal Cookie Day. Is that a brand?
I think it's a type.
Is it? I'll have to look that up. I've never heard of a Lacy Oatmeal Cookie. And says, glad to be here live. Me too.
Yeah, we're glad you're here live.
I am happy to be live because it's better than not being live.
Whatever.
All right, Jack, let's get into it. Let's just dive, shall we? Tomorrow, our president has promised us the release of the JFK files. Dun, dun, dun. And I saw probably my favorite post on this right before we went live, where someone asked, what do you think will be exposed? And I just want to tell y'all right now, nothing. Not a damn thing.
Yeah, there's going to be a file labeled The Grassy Knoll Man. And it's just a list of his stats, like his name and his specialties.
You know how this one matters to me, because the JFK thing is probably the biggest, most blatant example of our government toppling our own government in broad daylight in front of everybody, and people having smoke blown up their ass and being gaslit constantly. Like, no, totally, that bullet could have done that. And Connolly definitely could have kept holding his Stetson with his wrist shattered.
It's a
Sure.
really nice hat, Monkey.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to drop it either. I'd much rather have my blood all over it.
Do you know how much a custom-made Stetson costs?
Um, what do you think we're going to hear tomorrow? Maybe a couple of names of people who had some inclinations, maybe.
It'll be a bunch of interviews that don't mean anything, and any real information is either been destroyed by now, is running through a shredder at this moment, or never existed.
This shooting happened in 1963. So even if there were people involved in our government, right? Very youngest they were was 17 at the time. Youngest they could have been. Lied about their age to get into the CIA or some shit like that. At this point, they're 80 years old. Maybe.
No, I think they recruited a bunch of 10-year-olds who were like, "Keepers, Mr. Johnson, I'll take care of Mr. Kennedy for you. I got my pellet gun right here.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid."
Well, he shot someone's eye out.
No, his eyes were fine. It was his brain that came out.
If they lied to us about the brain matter and the number of shooters, they'll lie about the eyes.
I love that Jackie jumped on the back of the car to pick up part of his head. That's a good woman right there.
That is loyalty at its core. Like, I'll get that for you, dear. You're making a mess in the car.
You dropped it. I got it. That's a 60s wife right there, man, cleaning up after her husband.
Right? Oh, man. They don't make them like that anymore.
Anyhow, I don't think we're going to find out anything important. I really don't. I think the most important things that we could have found, we already did with the CIA. Absolutely knowing who Oswald was.
Oh, yeah.
No, we don't. We have no idea who that is. Really? Then why'd you guys have a file on him? And why wouldn't the CIA have a file on a dude who defected to Russia and then came back?
Yeah, former Marine marksman who defected and then came back. Yeah, you gotta be shitting me. If they did have a file on him, that's a bigger scandal.
No shit. That's your fucking job, dude. But yeah, we had no file on him. Like, oh look, they were keeping track of him. The big crux of the movie JFK, Clay Shaw. We learned that yes, that absolutely was an alias he used. So whether you believe that actually means anything or not, it was covered up by the government for decades to make Jim Garrison look retarded. And look, I'm not saying Jim Garrison is made to look a lot better than he was in the JFK movie. Because he had some other flights of fancy that don't get covered in there. And they also did things like drugging witnesses because they thought that they could get more accurate testimony from them.
Then the space aliens showed up.
So Garrison wasn't a perfect man, but they were on to something with the whole Shaw angle. And Shaw knew Oswald. There's a whole lot of that stuff that is undeniable at this point that has come out in the JFK files that we've gotten so far. And nobody cares.
No, because it happened in the 60s. Most of the people, like you said, that were interested in this are long dead. That's our parents' generation.
Yeah, the men who did this were more than likely the youngest, late 20s. So at this point, they're actually, 90 if they're still alive.
Yeah, and you're talking about the head honchos who made the decision would have been in their 30s or 40s.
Yep.
They're long dead. And you're talking like Johnson and other cronies of that nature. George Herbert Walker Bush.
Yep.
He's an ancient man if he's even still alive, which is he? I don't even fucking care. But
HW died.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But he was head of the CIA for a little while, and he was in the agency for a long time.
Yep.
So all those guys were in like their 30s or 40s, commanding people in their 20s to do stuff. They're at best they're super old. And this is a conspiracy that, let's face it, the modern generations don't really give a shit about.
Yeah.
For our generation, it'd be like 9/11, and for the younger people, it'd be like P. Diddy.
But it is important, and this is why it bothers me that it doesn't get more attention. Our government did this. I don't care what y'all say. They were involved in this, and they got away with murdering a president.
Yep.
In broad daylight. They didn't even wait and do it like when he was watching a play somewhere, Jack. They shot this motherfucker in broad daylight.
Oh, that's the Democrats.
Who probably, if we're being honest, were behind this too.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a given. Real quick, thank you, Frosted Glass. I'd vote for Trump 50 more times if tomorrow he drops a Choose Your Fighter video featuring JFK, Oswald, and the CIA. But everyone knows Tony Todd did it. That's true. He was a vampire. Unfortunately, JFK didn't have Ray Parker Jr. or a vet in a weaponized wheelchair by his side. Dude, I would take Ray Parker Jr. or Jan Michael Vincent on my side in a fight any day. In their prime, obviously, not as creepy old men. Sure. Ray Parker Jr.'s only vulnerability is Huey Lewis.
That is true. That is absolutely true.
Thank you, Frosted.
Although he endured, so I think that's still a win for him.
Yeah, and Frosted is talking about an excellent movie called Enemy Territory, which starred Ray Parker Jr., Jan Michael Vincent, and Tony Todd.
St. Fugi asked, where was Agent 47? Trying to stop Oswald at the time. He missed.
Oh, yeah, that movie also has Stacey Dash in it, by the way.
Beautiful young lady. All right. So if we're being honest, when this comes out tomorrow, I think it'll be as big a letdown as the Epstein files from the other day.
Yeah, they're going to dump a bunch of paperwork out, and it'll be almost entirely pointless.
The only thing I think we might see, what I'd really like to see, is all the autopsy stuff. Unfortunately, especially the notes, but they were burned. You ever hear of a doctor burning his notes from an autopsy before, Jack?
Not one that wasn't committing about 8 felonies, no.
That's what happened in the JFK autopsy. Actually, ordered to destroy his notes. Dark Resurrect, thank you for that feminist $12. Not to mention, our government tried it again in Butler, Pennsylvania. Now, come on, man. Just because I can barely see and I could have taken that guy out, don't think they were trying something there.
Yeah, they came out the other day and said they believe he had help on the ground.
Really?
Yeah, the Secret Service.
That's why that one female Secret Service agent got underneath his armpit. She was trying to get out of the way of the third shot.
Well, she was trying to hide behind him at the podium there. Like, I'll hide behind the president for safety. Everybody, I found a meat shield. Bring that kid over here in case I need to go somewhere.
Get down behind the biggest guy. Yeah, that's the safe place to be. Too bad that's not her job.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wish we would get real answers, Jack.
We're not going to.
No.
I wish we would too, but anything that was important is long gone, or they're going to hold it back, which I'm pretty sure they've already destroyed it. Just like the Epstein files. We're never going to see those.
Other than things like the autopsy report, right? I don't think that there was probably anything to expose. I get that these are paper pushing pencil neck douchebags, but surely they were smart enough not to write it down, right?
I mean, 50-50 on that, because back then a lot of government officials thought they were so far above everything they could do no wrong, and even if they got caught, they'd never be prosecuted, much like today. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did write stuff down, but they would have destroyed it as soon as any kind of heat came their way.
What's weird to me is that when Congress voted to release all this shit. There's an actual law in the books that this stuff is supposed to be released. And we've had president after president promise to do it, and they've drugged their feet. And I can only imagine that's because somebody's still alive. Somebody's name is in there that's going to shock us.
It's probably buried in there somewhere. Somebody that is of importance signed off, whether it was George Bush Sr. or Johnson or somebody else, somebody the Democrats care about, probably, or it would have been released by now.
I just don't understand why all of it hasn't been released.
I'm wondering if it is a Kissinger's name in there somewhere.
That wouldn't shock me.
Yeah. Oh, real quickly. Thank you, Double Fruit Zero. When we see the JFK files, we'll see a lot of, because people might come back as zombies and start some shit. Voodoo's coming back because of the Haitians. It's a conspiracy. Don't tell anyone that's why the border jumped. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That's why we had to put the wall up to keep the Haitians from eating our dogs and doing black magic. I'm keeping an eye on Springfield a little more closely now. Thank you.
I blame you for getting me into Asmongold, Ranting Monkey. Now I'm watching Twitch streams. For the record, I do not condone or condemn Asmongold as a whole. I am quite enjoying watching Hassan lose his shit because right now, Asmongold is basically the de facto political leader in streaming in that age group, which is funny to me. Because he's not a bright guy. He's not horribly stupid, don't get me wrong, but he's not a bright guy. And watching the fighting between him and Hassan is just, it's like two retarded kids fighting over a penny.
Well, I mean, kind of just nailed it on the head.
I'm good at analogy.
Yeah, look, Hassan's a retard. Metaphorically, not literally. Although I wonder.
Are we sure?
No, but I haven't seen any paperwork yet, and I don't have a lab. And
That's okay.
He refuses to submit to testing. So
this is the internet. We're allowed to diagnose.
That's right. That's true. But yeah, I mean, look, I don't know why anybody watches half the people they do. I don't know why I watch some of the people I do, but, something to do, I guess.
I don't know why anybody watches him sincerely.
Yeah, I would understand if you're watching to make fun of the tard, but, I mean, there's a lot of people that are only watching for that reason.
He's mad today because the Jews just bombed the Houthis.
Well, the Houthis kept blowing shit up.
Yep.
So, yeah, of course they got bombed. We blew up some of their shit, too.
Yep. And they need to stop taking hostages and shit.
Trump told them the other day that if they didn't knock it off, they were going to get bombed. And they didn't listen because apparently they didn't take him seriously. So, yep, blew a bunch of shit up. And the Iranians are pissing and moaning about it. And if they don't shut up, they're probably going to be next on the list.
I told you how I would deal with what Hamas has done, and I would do it with all of them. Fuck with us, and we will fuck you up, period.
Yeah, level some cities. Come on. Fuck around, find out.
Don't touch American boat. Don't touch any boats. Leave them all alone. Fuck them. The ceasefire deal was pretty much collapsed over there in the Middle East because, well, once again, Hamas is shockingly not living up to the deal.
Oh my God, I'm so surprised that terrorists didn't live up to their word. Ooh.
I watched I forget his name. The dude from the band, the English guy who got kicked out of his band for not being PC enough. Winchell what is his name? Anyway, him, Cenk Uygur, and some terrorist supporting American lady on Piers Morgan. And it was funny. Anytime Piers would bring up what shitbags Hamas are, Winston, thank you, Winston. Anytime he'd bring up what shitbags they are, Cenk and little terrorist supporting lady were like, wait, but what about Israel? What about Israel? And all he's doing, like, can you guys just admit that Hamas is bad, that they do bad shit? What about it every fucking time?
Oh, yeah.
Every time.
Yeah, it has to be this tit for tat nonsense. It can't be that you did something bad, so that makes you a bad person. Oh, no, we got to look over there. Real quick, thank you, Shio. Is today the best day to remind everyone my favorite sex position is the JFK? That's where I explode all over her face and she screams trying to get out of the car. No, I think that's the right day for it.
Sure.
Especially if you have somebody jump up in front and surprise her.
But if you're going to do the real JFK, you got to hit her from behind. That was the kill shot.
Well, you get one from the front and one from behind.
One in the front's got to be in the chest.
From the grassy knoll.
Yeah. No, I was watching that with great interest because Cenk keeps bringing up they killed too many, and Piers even says the Jews have overreacted a little bit, and how dare they turn off the power? That's where they're getting water. It's cruel and unusual. It's called a siege. Do y'all know what that is?
Apparently not. Apparently, warfare is a forgotten thing in the West because we don't understand that if you want to crush your enemy, like actually crush them, you can't let them have lights and free medical supplies.
And this is the problem with leftist and especially westernized ideas, is that we're supposed to treat people who are horrific. They literally kidnapped and killed a baby. Okay.
Oh, multiple babies.
Well, the terrorist supporters, I'm just going to call them what they are. The Hamas supporters they're like, there weren't 40 babies beheaded. Sure. But there were at least 40 babies killed. Is it better that they did it with a boot? Is it better that they set them on fire?
I mean, I guess.
Hey, that's not how they killed. They killed those babies humanely.
Yeah, with a coat hanger.
They used a vacuum.
Yeah, it's a baby's weakness.
I just love that that's their argument. That's not how we killed them.
Well, look.
That's not how they killed them.
Cenk Uygur's a genocide denier anyway, because brown people could do no wrong to him. So he does that stupid lefty thing where they start saying, well, they're poor, they're oppressed brown people, so they must be righteous. And he will go to the ends of the earth to defend the scummiest, murderous psychopaths on the planet.
And on murderous psychopaths on the planet, we have to break for some wholesomeness, Jack. We have a birthday for Xander, who turns 6 tomorrow.
Oh, that's a good age. You get the cool toys.
Xander, this one's for you, my friend. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Xander. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, kiddo. Hope you have a great one. Really, really do. 6. What a good time to be alive.
Yeah, you start getting all the really cool action figures and play sets.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, I'm just tired of terrorists supporting shitbags, because this is all blowing up because of that guy getting kicked out of the country. Terrorist supporter 1,565, whatever the fuck his name is. Khalid, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He kind of screwed himself because he was an agent of a terrorist organization.
Yeah, he was an agent provocateur coming here to foment.
No, even more directly, he negotiated on their behalf with the college.
Oh.
Yeah. So, I mean, a direct violation of the code for his green card. Whoopsie.
That was a bit overreaching. If he had stuck to more subversive stuff like organizing, protests and stuff like that, he probably wouldn't have gotten caught.
No. You see, he's one of the good ones because he speaks out against being violent.
Yeah, right.
He's totally not in favor of violence.
We've never seen that before.
Yeah, and all the Palestinians want is peace. Cenk plays real hard into how many babies have been killed over there. Yeah, it sucks. It does. And I'm not happy that any children have
Yeah,
been
but
killed.
it's a war.
But wait. Even before we get to It's a War, they started it.
Oh, your hate facts have no place here. A few paragliders got lost, and sure, they murdered a bunch of innocent people at a music festival, and then kidnapped a whole bunch more. But that's just what you do when you land in the wrong field.
Do we even know how many German kids were killed during World War II?
I bet the Germans know. The Nazis kept great records of how many people they killed, what their names were, their measurements, all of that. They kept impeccable notations of everything they did.
When you start a war and your kids get killed because of it, that's still on you. That's on you. And the little fuck, I don't even know her name. I've seen her before, but she's not Linda Sarsour. She's a Linda Sarsour knockoff. She refuses to denounce anything. She says she will always support anybody fighting against a brutal occupying regime. Israel hasn't been inside Gaza since 2006.
Yeah.
They're not occupying shit.
It's
Not a
an
fucking
open-air
thing.
prison.
They've had billions of dollars in aid given to them. And what they do with it? They bought some gliders so they could fly in and kill people at a peace festival.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Hannibal Protocol came up. Do you know what the Hannibal Protocol is?
I love it when a plan comes together.
No.
They got elephants out and challenged the Romans.
It's a Jewish plan, an Israeli plan, that if their people are likely to be taken by enemy combatants, that they're part of the casualties of war.
Oh yeah, a lot of places do that. They just assume if you're taken hostage, you're likely dead.
So they may have bombed some of their own people during the the October 7th thing.
Yeah.
And they're like, see, the Jews killed them all. Did the Jews take the hostages? Because I'm fairly certain that family that was supposed to be returned and that the terrorists forced to give a statement about how great they were, and they still didn't return all the people. I'm pretty sure the Jews didn't do that to them. Pretty sure that was Hamas. I can't be sure, Jack. And even if the Hannibal Protocol was implemented, it wouldn't have been if Palestinians didn't come over and kill a bunch of Jews. Hey,
Yeah.
you want the Jews to be nice to you? Try not killing them. Leave them alone.
I just looked it up. Apparently, according to one of the only sources available on this, it looks like about 10 to 15 million children died during the Nazi regime, around 1 million of whom were Jews. The rest were murdered during the Holocaust, during the Great Patriotic War, which was the Eastern Front, and by fascist Romania and other collaborators.
That's the people that the Germans were killing. How many German citizens died?
Some of these were German citizens.
Well, yeah, okay. I mean, Hitler approved citizens.
It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
Even the Holocaust Encyclopedia doesn't have a lot of great numbers on that because the Germans really don't want to tell anyone what they did. But they kept records about it.
I'm not talking about what they did. I'm talking about our bombing campaigns in Germany. How many kids were killed?
Probably about that same amount.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, these statistics are giving us are just the kids killed in the killing centers like Auschwitz.
Right.
Killed after birth or in institutions, in the ghettos and camps. Because remember, the camps weren't the same as killing centers.
Right. Yeah. And my point being, tons of civilians died during World War II.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And clearly some of them were German. So was it wrong? I mean, especially American bombing. Germany didn't even bomb us. That was Japan.
Yeah, Japan got a couple of hits on us. Well, they mostly hit Canada with their stupid little balloons.
I was talking about Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, do we count that though? I mean, that's an island nation.
The notion that, oh my God, so many civilians are being killed. Yeah, it sucks, but that is war. You want it to stop? Tell Hamas to disarm.
Right?
Get them the fuck out of there. Because until you do, this is going to keep going on. This has been going on my entire fucking life.
Yep. It's an old blood feud that's not going to settle until one of them wipes out the other. So just wipe one of them off the map and get it over with. I'm so tired of this shit. Every couple of years, somebody flares up and kills a bunch of other people. Normally not as many as this time around, but still. Just in Dresden, by the way, we killed about 25,000 people.
And if we're going with normal population numbers, at least a fifth of those were children.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
At least a fifth.
Especially. Yeah.
So that's 5,000 kids in one bombing run. Granted, it lasted a while.
And they were incendiary devices on top of that, so they burned to death.
Is that an overreaction to Pearl Harbor?
I mean, depends if you lived in Dresden or not. I'm sure if you lived in Dresden, you're like, hey, that's uncalled for. And we're like, fuck you.
I don't like kids dying, but can we stop pretending that it doesn't happen in war and start looking at the people who started the fucking thing?
No. Yeah, the Tokyo firebombing killed like 100,000 people.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, this is war. People die. Innocent people die all the time, especially in war. It's kind of unavoidable, especially when the bad guys are hiding out in the civilian buildings.
I don't care how much you hate Israel. What happened on October 7th was unacceptable, and it is the umpteenth time that these terrorist little fuckers have done this to the Jews. I don't blame them for going scorched earth, and actually they're being much nicer about it than I would be.
Yeah.
That place would be glass right now.
We would actually surprised the Israelis haven't done that.
We would call it Gaza's glass land and turn it into a fucking theme park.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to wear special suits, though.
Eric, thank you so much. At some point, the world is going to have to stop sending aid, money, and other forms of support to the Middle East. Make them figure out their crap and get left behind as the world moves on. I'm okay with that. But here's the thing: even if we do that, like if we gave no aid to Israel and everything still happened the same way it did, I would still say fuck Hamas. They did this.
Yeah, but the Middle East is just a bunch of tribalists stuck in the 8th century, fighting these old blood feuds and hatred that their illiterate minds can't think outside of that, because the majority of the people there are completely backward. And the only people that are even remotely well educated are people that work in the governments usually, or they're very rich.
This would be like if somehow Ukraine managed to turn things around and bomb some Russian cities and were actually making progress, being like, those poor Russians. Like, they started it.
Yeah. It's hard to feel bad for the attacker.
It really is. Anyhow, I did not mean to get onto that topic, but I saw that stupid fucking thing earlier tonight, and I'm so tired of the nonsense about these poor put upon. Fuck you. They've had 20 years to get their shit together, and all they've done is found new clever ways to kill Jews.
They didn't build any air raid shelters either. With all that money.
They tunnels. Did. They did for themselves.
Yeah, but it shows how little they give a shit about the civilians.
Yeah, they left the civilians up there to die. They knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, I don't care about any of these people anymore. I really don't give a shit about the Middle East. It is completely useless to us, other than the fact that they have oil.
Hammond Bean says, no, we started the Ukrainian-Russian war by overthrowing the Ukrainian government in 2014. That is true. And who was I watching? Somebody that I was watching today really irritated me because they said, well, actually, the Russians, they were trying to influence that election too. To the way things had always been?
Yeah, because the Ukraine had leaned toward the Soviet Union for a very, very long time.
It is true. I mean, whatever they have for the KGB now, I forget what it's called, that what the new iteration of that is. I'm sure they were involved because their neighbor was being USized by the CIA.
Yeah.
And it was blatant. It was fucking blatant.
Stupid meddling. Pointless nonsense. We already got Ukraine's nukes away from them. Thank God on that note, because otherwise it'd be a big cloud moving across Europe right now.
FSB, thank you guys. Yes, the FSB. It's enough of that nonsense though. Just so tired of it. All right, Jack, I got to talk about video games.
Oh, okay.
Because on my couple of days off, somebody was kind enough to get me the new Kingdom Come Deliverance game, and oh god, it's so fun. I suck at it so bad, but it's so fun. And there's a lot of it where you can tell that it's made by people who want to make a fun game.
Oh,
there's the amount of fucked up things you can do in this game.
Is taking a canoe ride with your friends?
I don't think you can take a canoe ride with your friends in it.
Well, it's called Deliverance. It seems kind of necessary.
No. This is set in the 1400s, my friend. Not rural Georgia in the 80s.
Well, I mean, okay, so there's some knights that are a little, inbred.
Yeah, it's a really fun game, and this comes out. What's the date on this? Oh, it doesn't actually give the date, so I'm guessing it was today. Saber Interactive CEO says Saints Row had to die because the games were too expensive. The days of throwing money at games other than GTAs of the world is over. Dun dun dun.
Oh yeah, that's not even remotely true. Somebody will come up with a one that for half the budget that looks almost as good and is actually fun.
Well, that's the thing. They just had a Saints Row reboot. What is that? 2019, 2021? I forget when it came out. And it, besides being a technological mess, there were some issues with it running properly and that kind of stuff. The story of it was just retarded. It starts out with people who need to pay rent, Jack, because they're so put upon.
Oh God, they probably don't have jobs.
A GTA clone, for lack of a better term, is what the original Saints Row was, and it was great. It was fucking glorious. It was a lot of fun. It was mayhem and disorder in a gangland style thing. And it was just great, and it did really well. And as the series went on, they get into 3 and 4, and it just gets fucking weird.
Yeah, it got stupid.
And I mean, gameplay wise, it's still fun, but the story is just absolutely retarded.
Real quick, thank you, Frosted Glass. So Israel and the U.S. can't use strategies that put civilians at risk. Someone tell them what Sherman did to the Confederacy.
No shit.
What we did to Berlin or Nagasaki. Now look at Afghanistan. Democrats are so eager to start wars, but have no idea how to end them. They don't know how to end them or fight them.
The OG Saints Row was a spoof series, and I love it dearly. It was, and it was great. It was wonderful. And it was largely based, it's a spoof of San Andreas at the time, because that's the big one that GTA had at the time. And it was fun. And if they would have done that same thing with the reboot, instead of injecting woke crap into it and gave us a good story with a working game, it would still be selling right now.
No, wokeness sells games, monkey. That's what people need, is the message. They don't know they need it in their life, but they do. And they will soon realize it any day now. Any day now.
What these game developers need to remember is that males are the biggest audience. They are when it comes to especially violent video games, Jack, yes, there are girls who play it, but they're not the driving force behind it. It's just like comic books and D&D and so many other things where it's like, we've got to feminize this. No.
They're not feminizing it, Monkey. They're making it better. Because there's only really two genders, male and other. So look, they want to appeal to the broadest audience, which is other, because that's your non-binaries, your trans, whatever pride flag Frosted makes up in his free time. It's all of those things. So you're looking at an untapped market of people that didn't care about video games before that can now see themselves represented. And it's just going to explode the market. Just you wait. This slump that we're going through now, where comics are dying off, D&D sucks because there's no orcs anymore, and video games are just sad embarrassments. Look, all that's going to go by the wayside. Maybe Captain America 4 will turn it all around. Just you wait.
Cult of Krill, thank you for that feminist $12. Volition, the company that developed Saints Row, was based in Champaign, Illinois, home of the University of Illinois. They hired programmers out of the college on the cheap because all the big programmers were on the West Coast. Hence the Saints Row 4 storyline. In fairness to Saints Row 4, Saints Row 3 pretty much gave us Saints Row 4. It just got ridiculous. After 2, they decided not to try to be in any way serious. I mean, the GTA games aren't serious, but there's a wink and a nod to the seriousness of it. If they had done this right, they would have made billions. Would they have made GTA numbers? No, but they could have got a decent amount off of it. They wouldn't have had to close down the company that made it. The smaller teams that made it wouldn't have to have been fired. It's not the cost of the games, although the cost of the games is part of it. Somebody needs to rein in these guys and go, no, this is what. There's that one game developer, I forget who he worked for. He's got his own YouTube channel now where he tells stories and stuff about his time there, as well as commenting on the gaming sphere these days. He told a story about when he was running this one team for a video game. He just wanted a small code put in. A really quick code that he says he could have wrote in like 45 minutes. And he asked him, I need this put in. The guy told him, man, it's going to take about 3 weeks. He went, what? And the shortest amount of time that they could promise to get this little thing in, which was just, if I remember correctly, it's just a kill counter, was a week and a half.
What? Why?
That's how long it would take them to write a short code to keep track of how many people were dying.
That shouldn't be that difficult at all.
Well, because unlike the way games used to be made, they're all managed on teams now. And so everything's got to go through a committee and you got to have meetings because that's how everything is run these days.
You know, NASA tried that and they ended up with like trying to assemble a satellite or something. Because each committee was working on different parts, they didn't line them up properly, so they had to create adapters to fit the parts together.
No, it's not the Pirate Software guy, and it's not Grums. I know who Grums is. Yeah, he's an OG WoW developer. I think this guy worked on the original Diablo, but don't quote me on that. It was some big franchise, and I can't remember. I'm not a huge fan of his. I've only seen a couple of his videos, but that's telling of it. I understand having some kind of structure in your company. You have to. But at some point, you need to go, this needs done here. No, stop everything else, get this fixed, and then we'll work on this and this and this. And it's not how it's done anymore. And the major studios are spending way too, it's like the movie industry, way too much money on every project.
That's because you have to have a bunch of management team for each of those groups. So you're building committees around committees and that nobody's actually doing anything. It's just a bunch of paper moving in a giant circle.
Hey,
but that's it.
But the guys who work there don't tell sexist jokes anymore. Yay.
Whoop-de-fucking-do. If you're not getting anything done and your game sucks, who cares? Real quick.
And
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I can say the person it was just brought up in chat, Grums is where this screenshot comes from. And he pointed out, you don't need a shit ton of money. A whole bunch of indie games with not near the $200 million, which I think was the budget for the Saints Row reboot. Not even close to that amount. And they're killing it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jack. I'm sorry.
No, this is just closed-minded. It's the NASA thing. They can only think in the way that things have always been done, because that's the way that works. So we have to stick to the V2 rocket. It's that short-sighted bureaucratic mentality. But real fast, thank you, Cult of Krill, for that feminist donation. Ubisoft will be the next company to fail due to wokeness because they went hard and heavy on retconning history to make Usagi a black samurai. Oh man, that Assassin's Creed game looks like dog shit. I'm sorry. I don't think it's going to do very well. But thank you, Cult.
The new Kingdom Come game that I was just talking about, its budget was $40 million. That is still kind of high, but it's got a lot of production value and stuff with it. Gamers will forgive some production value issues if you give us a good game.
Yeah, look at Phasmophobia. That was really popular.
Yeah. Balatro, which won many gaming awards. Very simple card game, Jack. Made by one dude.
Nice.
It's, if I remember correctly, it sells for like $15 on Steam, and it made him a multi-millionaire.
Wow.
Yeah, because he made a fun game.
Well,
and he didn't have the budget of Sony or any of these other studios who spend way too much on advertising. It was all word of mouth that got his game out there, because people played it and went, this is a fun game. They tell their friend. And then streamers pick it up, and boom, you have your viral marketing, and you ain't have to spend a dime on it.
Yeah. Assassin just mentioned a game called Rat Shaker. Sounds awesome.
Never heard of it.
You shake and squeeze a rat to open doors, light dark hallways, and solve puzzles while it complains at your abuse.
Nice.
Sounds funny.
Eagle says the best type of advertisement. Yeah, a few game companies caught on early to the notion of streamers being their friends rather than their enemies. Nintendo.
Nintendo still hasn't learned.
The series I've been playing on stream, Crusader Kings, their parent company, Paradox, they're one of the first ones who were like, let all the streamers play it.
Yeah. Well, Eagle's right. It's the best type of advertisement, because if the streamer likes it, he's going to keep saying how awesome it is. It's free advertisement.
Yeah. I don't get paid by any of the people I play games for. If you hear me say I like it, I actually like it. And I think that comes through in the streams. And oddly enough, several people are like, I bought that game because of you. Yeah.
Oh, how many copies of 7 Days to Die have you sold?
Pretty much they owe their homes to me. Me and Satsu, in fairness.
Yeah.
But yeah, the something that doesn't get talked about, and I do want to talk about this part of it, is that you have to know your audience. If you want to make a game that's going to appeal to women or girls, make a puzzle game. Do you know, you're as old as I am, Jack. Do you remember how popular Myst was?
Oh God, yeah.
Myst's audience was largely female.
Yeah, and the game was fucking dumb.
Hey, women liked it. And if you want to make a game that you want women to play, make a game that women are going to like. If you're going to make a game that's especially highly violent, just throwing this out there, you might want to go for the audience that's likely to play that game.
Yeah, women. Oh, lesbians.
Katie says women love The Sims. Everybody loved The Sims, in fairness, but yeah, it was a majorly the life sim genre. You could definitely sell that to women, absolutely, because it's not the violence that men get into in like Call of Duty. Oh, there's some really good Call of Duty females. I'm not saying women can't play them. Just because you make a game with a male audience in mind, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Just because you make a game with a male audience in mind doesn't mean women can't play it. It just means they're not the target audience for it. You want, sure, please come play our game. It's not the Hollywood thing. We don't even want you to play. You want them to play. What you don't want is to direct your game that is clearly more suited for guys towards women. Now, Jack, I was watching Nate the lawyer. He has a video about the WNBA whiners.
Oh, yeah.
Because these women are like, we deserve the same compensation as the men. And I want to get into it because there's some confusion apparently on how this works. So what they're saying is we don't want to be paid the same, not in dollars. We want the same percentage. So in the NBA, Jack, the owners get 50% of the revenue and the players get the other 50%. That's how the salaries are decided. In the WNBA, the players get about 22% and the owners get about 22%. The NBA gets something like 45%. And then there's a group of outside investors who get 16%. The WNBA players want 50% of revenues, which the WNBA doesn't even get. And the reason they don't is because the only reason they exist is that the NBA and those outside investors have combined poured almost $400 million into this losing proposition.
Yeah, I was going to say, do they even make any money? Like, I would think they're losing money hand over fist.
In 2023, they lost $40 million.
Well, those chicks better save their pennies now because they're going to have to pay for all that.
If you want a 50-50 split, buy out the other investors. That's what you need to do. And the thing is, if you do that, your company's going to go broke because you don't make enough. Now, they did just sign a massive $200 million a year TV contract. And that'll, for the first time, if everything goes right, for the first time, this next season will be their first profitable season because of that. And the three groups, who was it? I think ESPN, Disney, and somebody else, they are going to lose a shit ton of money on that deal.
Yeah,
they signed an 11-year deal with these people.
Why? I'd rather watch QVC because at least they're funny sometimes.
I don't know why you would pour that much money into it. Look, ladies, you're getting 50%. It's just 50% of what the WNBA gets. They don't get all the money because without the investors, they wouldn't exist. You don't deserve the money.
No.
We deserve to get paid more. Why? Why do you deserve more? Even let's say everything else is equal, right? The WNBA gets 100% of their revenue, Jack, and they're like, we're going to give 30% to the women. Why do you deserve more than that?
Because they have vaginas.
You want to deserve that much? Bring in fans.
They'd have to be good for that. Real quick, think of all potato. Wait, so the WNBA is going to be paying the WNBA to play? That's what it sounds like.
If you go back to the days of Wilt Chamberlain and when Magic and Larry Bird come into the league, these guys weren't making the kind of money they're making now. And basketball was played on like ESPN2 at 12:30 at night. They'd re-show games.
Yeah.
I mean, it was in a bad spot. And the NBA went out there and with a marketing campaign, and especially with Bird and Johnson coming into the league, really blew up the league and made it the powerhouse it is today. They didn't just go, oh, baseball players make more money than us. It's not fair. You got to build your fan base. And here's the ugly little truth you women don't want to hear. You're lanky, ugly lesbians who can barely play basketball. Nobody wants to watch that except for your friends and family.
Other lesbians.
Even your lesbian lovers' parents won't watch that shit. They're like, I don't know her. It's boring. And the whole idea of it, Jack, was just so the NBA could make money. Smart. By having full year basketball, you got the men playing, and then the women and the men, you know. And apparently nobody there went, does anybody watch women's basketball?
Well, to be fair, it was probably somebody telling their bookie why they couldn't pay him. Like, I got this thing going. It's women's basketball, see?
Yeah. Look, it could blow up. It's not gonna. I mean, even women's soccer at its height was not bringing in the money that men's soccer was in the U.S. And these were the best girls in the world, Jack. They won the World Cup, you know, in a much truncated tournament and with being paid even if you didn't play and all kinds of other nonsense. We need a women's league. No, you don't.
A league of their own.
If we wanted to watch the bad players, we'd go to a AAA ball game.
Right? At least then something interesting could happen. Because some of them are good players.
They're like, these are the best women in the world. They're just as good as the men. Then how come they get beat by boys?
Yeah.
The World Cup winning women's soccer team got their asses kicked by the B team at a high school.
That's just embarrassing.
It was 15-year-olds, Jack.
Yeah. Let's face it, a lot of those boys were like super horny, so they're running with boners, which is really not comfortable.
Well, if you've seen the women's soccer team, they probably didn't have boners.
Well, at that age, you know, any port in the storm.
That's fair. You're right. Play to your audience. I guess that's what I'm getting at here with both the video games and sports. You know why women's leagues don't last? It's not because people are sexist. It's because we want to watch the best of the best. And that's why nobody's watching me play basketball, Jack. Nobody wants to see the old guy who's crippled dribbling and missing.
I've watched Murder Ball before, and it's hardcore.
Even in my youth, when I was pretty good at basketball, compared to even the better players where I lived, I was shit. Because the best in the world are guys, and they're unbelievably good at what they do.
What? That is so sexist, Monkey.
It's why they get paid the way they do, because they bring in fans to watch that shit.
You're just a bigot.
The only time that doesn't happen is in college ball, which is changing, but where they just, you know, it was slavery, let's be honest. The way they treat college ball players of any sport, yeah, it was just slavery. That South Park was dead on. Like, how do you keep your slaves? Play to your audience. If you want to sell a sport, you either need to make it something like women's beach volleyball,
yes,
or put guys in there.
No, not women's beach volleyball.
Even when it comes to volleyball, the reason you watch women's beach volleyball is not for their play. Because if you want to watch the best, you're going to watch the guys do it.
Yeah, but I don't care about volleyball. I care about ladies on the beach in bikinis.
I used to watch volleyball quite a bit back when I played a lot. And St. John Smith, man, dude rocked it. But I didn't watch him very often. I was watching the females. I was 16, man. What do you expect?
Yeah, Summer Olympics.
Yeah, just stop trying to force yourself into to men's stuff, by all means, play the WNBA. But you want to make the WNBA profitable? Pay those ladies less.
I mean, don't women already have a category, like a sport all their own? Isn't that the Great British Bake Off?
Actually, dudes win that more than women, if I remember correctly.
Oh, shit. We're just better at everything. Sorry, ladies.
Some of those guys and ladies, some of those people make some amazing looking stuff.
Dude, my brother got me watching this crap, but they were doing, it was a holiday one, like right around Christmas time, and they were making like dioramas, so it looked like you were looking in a house.
Yeah,
and everything on there was edible. It was amazing.
Yeah, and it's not like that Cake Boss shit where most of what he makes is Rice Krispie treats and then calls it a cake.
Yeah.
Some Lady Monkey got me watching that, and it is really good. Although some of the hosts drive me nuts when they had that fat little guy on there. I really hated it.
Yeah, I don't like the judges. Like, just get a couple of normal fat guys on there. They're like, "This is delicious," you know. The end. You win. It is more delicious than you over there.
I like the two original ladies who did it. Who did the hosting, not the judging. And then they switched it up a couple of times, and now they got that guy, the really obviously gay guy.
Mm-hmm.
And my only problem with him is he needs to get his hair off his ears because it's driving me fucking nuts.
Yeah, it just looks sloppy.
Just swipe it back or get it cut, for fuck's sake. But they keep pairing him up with different people, and the only one that I've really liked was the really old lady that was with him. Yeah, I watched the Great British Bake Off, and I'm not ashamed of it because it's actually a really good show. I do like it. It's one of the few things my wife has got me watching where I'm like, is there another episode? Oh, speaking of which, the new Reachers come out. Oh, and I'm already disappointed because I watched the first episode, and in the first Reacher season 1 and in season 2, both of the episodes really get your attention. And this one, I'm not as invested in the first episode because in the first episode, he immediately gets arrested in the very first season. And you're like, uh-oh, what's going on here? And then in the second season, his old team gets killed in the first episode. So you're like, oh shit, I'm intrigued. And in this one, he's kind of pulled into it, and they try to make it about him, and it kind of falls flat for me.
Oh,
but they've done so good with the other 2 seasons that I'm staying with it for now. But I can't quite endorse it yet.
Yeah, I saw the first season, and it was pretty good up until like that last episode, and I was like, it's kind of weak.
The last episode of the first season reminds me of every action movie in the 80s.
Yeah, it got a little over the top, shall we say.
And everything has to be wrapped up all at once, and all of the villains, because they've got like 3 villains there, all end up at the same place, and everybody fights their specific villain. It's great.
Yeah, it was just a little too formulaic, and I didn't think it worked out very well.
No, you're right. I think the season finale of the first season was by far the weak, and not just by default, by far the weakest episode. I think the first season was pretty good, and especially for how they fucked up so many things on streaming services when they get an IP. Yeah, they did really good with that one. What do you think of Black Snape?
I think it's stupid. I don't care because I'm not going to watch this stupid show. They're going to race swap one of the main 3 characters, so it's going to be dumb. I think it's a waste of time to constantly do this race swapping thing. Get over it. Let it go. It's not fun. It's just annoying, and it's incredibly distracting from the project you're trying to do.
Yeah, if ever there was a series that really could benefit from a redo on a streaming thing where you got episodic stuff going on, serialized episodes going on, it's Harry Potter, because they skipped so much in the movies. Even the first book, which is the shortest of them, if I remember correctly, probably should have been at least 3 hours long to cover all of the stuff it should have.
Yeah.
And that's still leaving out quite a bit.
But if they're gonna race swap a character, God knows what other changes they're gonna do. Is Hermione gonna be a lesbian with Ronina now? What other
Well,
crap are they gonna do to it?
and if you know the story, it's kind of fucked up if you think about it, because Harry's going to be a little white kid. So Snape's whole motivation for being mean to the little white kid for 7 books is that he really wanted to hook up with his lily white devil mama.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's not the best way to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, but maybe they're gonna make Voldemort the good guy because he's so misunderstood. You just didn't understand his motives; they were pure at heart. He just did it wrong. It's no true black magic.
Yeah, look, it was written with white characters. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
I
it
don't know what
takes
to tell you.
place in Britain in the 90s. Come on.
And look, it can work with race swap characters. I just don't know why you would do it, especially with the pushback against all the woke shit these days.
Yeah.
All you're doing is dooming your project to fail. People who would have watched it are going to get turned away from it because of the clear political bullshit you're putting in.
Yeah. Most people have come to recognize this updated for modern audiences crap for what it really is. It's lazy propaganda. And nobody wants to watch it because it makes your project look like it's lazy. Like the only way you can sell this is, well, we race swapped a character. Well,
But
your project probably sucks then.
that's the thing. This is going to sell because it's Harry Potter. Right now, I know this for reasons I don't want to get into on here, but there's a Harry Potter doll set that is incredibly hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
The different play sets from it are, if you want Legos, they have tons of them, but there's another thing, and I'll talk to you offline about it.
Yeah,
But
I know what you're talking about, sadly.
the fan base is still there. And I was talking to my son about this the other day. All of the people who grew up with that have kids who are about the age that start reading Harry Potter now.
Yeah.
And it's a thing being passed down. And you could do that. So I get why they're trying. And you can be more faithful to the books if you take a longer format like a television show.
Yeah, but unfortunately, being more faithful to the books doesn't seem to be the agenda here.
Exactly. And that's part of the problem. Even if that is what they want to do, and there's like, it's just race, it's not a big deal. You're taking one of the most iconic actors of our generation. That's already going to be hard to live up to.
Yeah.
You're stepping into the shoes of Alan Rickman, for fuck's sake. Pick somebody nobody cares about. Shit. Pick Slughorn, for fuck's sake. Pick somebody that still meaningful to the story, but not Alan Rickman.
Well, that's exactly why they're doing it. They want the high profile character.
But see, Snape isn't even really that big of a character until book 6. He's just an annoying guy that Harry and company are convinced is evil.
But he is a foil to them. He is in all the books, and he is constantly foiling what they're up to. You know, when they're out,
then make Malfoy black
or sneaking around. Yeah, well, I mean, they won't do that because he's evil, and the white kids are evil.
What's the groundskeeper's name? I never remember his name. He's in all the books. And he's one that gets cut out, and you barely see him. I think you see him in 1, 6, 5, and 7. Fitch, right? The groundskeeper. Yeah. Filch. Yeah. There it is. Filch. Make it him. Just anybody but Snape, Dumbledore, and Harry. Anyway, real quick. Frosted, let me get this real fast. Frosted, thank you. I know how to get viewers for the WNBA. Run the game like normal, but instead of a basketball court, use the BattleBots arena. Also, I hope they make Voldemort black. Then they can keep him away from Hogwarts by just letting him impregnate a professor. Wow, Frosted trying to get us all in trouble. I just don't know why you do it this way. I mean, I do.
It's to stir up controversy. That's all.
But with what we're seeing with Snow White, why would you invite that? With what we
Because
saw,
they haven't learned their lesson.
with what we saw with Rings of Power, why would you invite that?
Because you're misunderstanding the communist mentality.
Oh, I'm not.
It's never been done right.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing is, oh, those guys didn't do it right. We're going to do it right.
When I say that I thought Filch was the caretaker and Hagrid is the groundskeeper. Yeah, technically you're correct. I understand it's rhetorical when I say, why would you do that? Because I know why. I know why they're doing that.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it from a logical point of view.
I don't understand it from a financial point of view at this point. They've lost so much money off these turd shows and movies, and nobody seems to be getting the hit yet because they keep financing this shit.
Why not? If you want to do that, if you want to have black wizards, there's got to be a book out there that's already written about black wizards.
Probably a highly racist one.
I get it when it comes to the left. When you say black and wizard in the same sentence, it usually doesn't go well.
They really like they like to be the ones that are the wizards, the grand wizards, if you will.
There's usually some tension there, but fuck, man. Do you really think forcing that shit is a good idea?
Yeah, they do. They do. Because they just haven't figured out how to get the message to you because you're so dumb.
There are tons of black children who love Harry Potter that don't need to see themselves represented.
Yeah, of course not, because little kids don't see the race until they're taught to. That's why every little kid wanted to be Superman.
Dude, I had friends, little black friends, who were Luke Duke while I was Bo.
Yeah.
You know, the two guys who drive around in a car with the Confederate battle flag on top.
Hey, we had a Hispanic Mr. T for a little while.
Yes, because we didn't care about that shit. That is some bullshit adults put on the kids.
No, kids will be like, why does he look different? Well, that's just the way he was born. Oh, okay. Hey, you want to play cars?
Yeah.
Kids don't give a shit.
That is some shit that is given to them. It's our present to them. And nowadays it's their original sin for one side and their birthright oppression on the other.
Yeah. Yeah, it can never die because they need it to push their nonsense.
Not one of my little black friends went, hey, we can't play Dukes of Hazzard. They've only ever had one episode with a black guy in it. Nobody wanted to be Roscoe.
Their mechanic was named Cooter, for God's sake.
Yeah, I love Cooter. In all meaning of that word. Thank you, Dangerous. So James Potter's going to hang a black kid from a tree. Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Oh no. Yeah, they don't explore that in the movies. They kind of gloss over what an asshole James was to Servius. God, why do I know their first names? 2, thank you. Still going on with his thing. So Harry is going to assume that a black teacher's evil. And 3, the black guy is going to be made to teach defense against the dark arts. Interesting. He's going to want to teach it. It's his goal. Yeah, there's nothing good that can come out of Black Snape. I mean, again, the actor might be great and play the role fine, but there's nothing good that's going to come out of this. Fuck me.
It's going to be stupid.
Speaking of fuck me, let's turn our attention to Andrew Tate because he got gayer than I thought he could ever get. And this is a guy who said he'd bang somebody with a wang. Or if we're being honest, he would get banged by somebody with a wang.
Yeah, a pretty man, I think was his words.
I don't know who he was talking to here, but he says this: tremble at the whisper of my name, for I wield the shadow fist. This guy's like almost 40.
Yep.
Hey,
Oh, when you're done reading it, I'll read it how I heard it in my head.
Okay. A force forged in the abyss of forgotten ages. With a single strike, your spirit will unravel, your bones will turn to dust, and your shadow will flee in terror. Wait, I thought you were the shadow. Your shadow will flee in terror before it is devoured by mine. Cross me, and not even the light of the sun will find your wretched soul when I unleash the wrath of darkness.
All right, now, as an old nerd, here's how I heard it. Tremble at the whisper of my name, for I wield the shadow fist, a force forged in the abyss of forgotten ages. With a single strike, your spirit will unravel, your bones will turn to dust, and your shadow will flee in terror before it's devoured by mine. Cross me, and not even the light of the sun will find your wretched soul when I unleash the wrath of darkness. I rolled an 18. Does that hit?
My only problem with how you read it is there's not enough lisp in there.
I can't do that because I can't create enough phlegm for it to sound proper because I can't spittle like that normally. But dear God, he sounds like he's playing a D&D game.
Yes, he does.
Seriously. What, is he going to teach us the touch of death next?
I'm sure there are a couple of virgins out there who were really impressed with this.
Right? Fuki says he wants to be Johnny Lawrence. That's funny because when I read this, whoever posted it, I put a gif of Danielson doing the crane kick on Johnny Lawrence. This is like, that's what you sound like. Do you sound like a pussy little retard? This is, I guess in his head or at his D&D session, this sounded a lot tougher. But this is some really hyperbolic fantasy novel shit.
It reminds me of Dennis when he loses his shit when Dee has the baby.
Yes.
The hammer of Thor. Yeah. This is so gay. And I don't mean that in the, hey, you suck a wiener kind of gay. I mean, this is so gay.
This is a nerd's cringe, man.
If you said this to somebody and we were in high school, you'd get a wedgie shoved in a locker with a swirly. And you deserve it.
Yeah, all your polyhedral dice would turn into like anal beads.
This makes me feel better about knowing Serbius Snape's name.
Well, I mean, it's less dorky for sure.
This is who is Dennis? He's one of the characters on Always Sunny.
Yeah, Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He has a method called the Dennis method. You should look that up. It's really enlightening.
It's the Dennis system. Thank you.
Whatever. The Dennis system. It's a great method for hooking up with women.
What is it? A force forged in the abyss of forgotten ages. Does he think he's like Black Adam or something?
No, he's Iron Fist.
He's been iron fisted, I have no doubt.
Yeah, see, he was his prowess of martial arts mastery was done in Kung Lao or Shambhala, and only the chosen are allowed to go there because it's a secret lost civilization. So yeah, and he probably met a real dragon, and he rode it, and he tamed it, made it its friends, and he's friends with the dragon now.
It is 2:00 in the morning here on the East Coast. And if you spent the entire rest of the day, the next 22 hours watching homosexual pornography, it would not be as gay as what Andrew Tate wrote here. This is beyond gay. What's beyond gay? This is trans gay.
Oh, hella gay.
This is hella gay. Who listens to this shit and says, that is my leader? That's who I want to style myself after. The dude who gets banged by trannies and posts this, tremble at the whisper of my name.
Maybe he's talking about Shadow Fist, the collectible card game from the 90s.
I think the Shadow Fist he's talking about has been in his rectum.
Oh, well, isn't there a Pokemon called Shadow Fist as well?
I don't think so. None that I've ever.
Attack.
Maybe there's an attack. Not that I'm aware
Shadow
of.
Punch. My bad. I just looked it up. It was on the Bulbapedia.
This actually makes me wonder if he found it in some weird self-written fantasy novel.
Yeah, this sounds like it came out of a fantasy novel. Like some big warlock said this, and he created the Shadow Fist magic power. I mean, it's bad fanfic, man. If it was in a fantasy novel, I would at least respect it as being genre appropriate.
Sure. But a grown man saying this to another person sincerely is among the dumbest goddamn things I've ever laid eyes on, if I'm being honest. It's just, fuck, dude.
It's a little over the top, shall we say.
I'm so amazing.
I'm sorry, the guy with no chin is going to hit you so hard your bones turn to dust?
Yes.
I mean, first of all, I doubt that's how that happens. But second of all, no, dude. Come on, you're trying way too hard. And you're not in fighting anymore. He's in good shape, but he's probably pretty rusty. I think Conor McGregor could take him.
All right, we got to talk about this one because people were losing their shit over it. And I saw Charlie's video on it, and it made me go read. And fuck me, I hate people. So, Jack, chess.com posted the other day, and they said, accepting new names for this piece, and it's the bishop.
Okay.
And a whole bunch of people decided this was a Jewish conspiracy.
What?
Yes, it is an attempt to get rid of Christianity, which has always existed in chess, except for when the Indians invented it before Christianity was there. And it was an elephant at the time.
Yeah. Also, in the Eastern, in the Western civilization sphere, it was originally called a visor. So
no,
was even the original name for it.
It's the bishop, and if you even make a post like that, by the way, they've done this with the rook too, and nobody said shit.
Nobody cares about the rook.
But now that it's the bishop, they're trying to cancel Christianity. No, they're not. Stop being a stereotype.
Well, it's already got like homosexuality in it with the queen. They can go wherever it wants and do whatever it wants.
It is amazing. Oh shit! Stone tosses answers on there. Fuck. Can we see it? Good. We can't see it on screen. Let's just say he suggests a name of a chat member that used to watch AP a lot.
Oh,
we'll call him Giga and leave it at that.
Yeah, you can kind of see it right over the box on my.
Can we? Oh, whatever.
Wrong way.
I didn't fucking write it. I don't care. This is the kind of shit that makes me hate people. Because even if they were sincere, that doesn't mean that they're really gonna hate Christianity.
Also, it's a website. They don't really control all the chessboards everywhere. Nobody owns chess. That's stupid.
These people lost their goddamn minds.
It looks more like Clawful's hand, like he's gonna go fight He-Man and he's got a zit on one of his fingers.
Yeah, I've never liked the icon they use for computer chess for the bishop. It doesn't look good.
I mean, it's supposed to resemble a Pope hat.
I guess, but why has it got a slit in the middle like that?
It's where he parts his hair.
Don't get sucked into stupid shit like this. Again, even if they were trying to change the name of it, it's based on medieval times. Do you really want to get on the side that the clergy at the time was on the up and up? Really?
Look, you can pay a lot of money and have all your sins forgiven.
They were some pretty fucked up people at the time. But yeah, people just losing their fucking mind.
That's stupid.
Yeah. Oh my God. Did you see? I don't know if we can actually play it all. I forget the name of the channel that it's associated with, but Dave Landau in this skit here, where they're explaining USAID.
I've seen it going around, but I didn't watch it.
Oh my God. Fuck it. We can get in trouble. I don't care.
I don't really understand this whole USAID or USAID thing.
It can be difficult. Luckily for you, I can explain it.
Okay.
See here, you're what's called a taxpayer.
I don't know who the big guy is talking right now, but he has charisma.
He just happened to have these pieces of paper.
Yes.
Oh, well, something to do, I guess.
And I am the government.
Okay.
May I have some tax money, please?
Sure.
Great.
Here you are.
This is the price you pay for a civilized society. So you give that $20 to me,
Mm-hmm.
the government. This is an NGO,
Okay.
a non-government organization. And this is an American small business.
Okay.
Okay, now out of that $20 you give to me, $10 I need to keep because, I've got to keep the lights on.
Sure.
And $10 goes to the NGO.
All right.
This one's called Rochambeau for World Peace.
All right.
You see that business owner right there?
Yes.
I'm going to need you to mostly peacefully kick him in the balls.
What, you guys serious?
You want that money?
Yeah.
Get a kick it.
All right.
Oh.
All right, we'll leave it there. I think you get the gist of what this skit is going to be, and it's fucking amazing. Check it out. I'll throw the link in the chat here. It's not wrong. For those who don't get the metaphor, why you'd kick the American business in the nuts is because when they're spending our money to prop up foreign companies, that's hurting our companies. Yay. Thank you, government.
Yeah.
What else we got today? I don't think I have that story pulled up. So, Jack, Donald Trump may have broken the law today. Oopsie.
Yeah, it happens.
So they rounded up a whole bunch of Venezuelan gang members, 200 of them, put them on 3 different planes. And of course, the left was like, no, those rapists and murderers and child fuckers, we need them here. And a judge stepped in and said, you can't send them out. And if they're already sent out, you got to bring them back. And Trump went, huh? I can't hear you.
Those planes were already over international waters.
Well, no.
They were over international waters. Prove otherwise.
2 of them were over international waters. 1 of them was on the tarmac,
which in its mind was over international waters.
It identified as international waters. So
that's right.
And then there's some people like Trump is defying a judge. The judge had no business getting involved here.
No, he's got no jurisdiction. That's the problem with the recent Supreme Court ruling where they said some shithole district could tell the president no. The judge has no standing, no client, nobody on that plane that needed to have a trial expedited. There was no reason for this other than I don't like what he's doing.
Yeah, these are horrible criminals. These aren't like jaywalkers and petty thieves. These are the worst of the worst. They were criminals in Venezuela. They're part of a gang.
Yeah, they regularly rape and traffic children.
And I'm all for the rule of law, Jack, but I'm getting tired of activist judges stopping shit that they shouldn't be involved in.
Yeah, and they have no business or authority to intervene in. Some random district judge does not have the power over the president like this. No society could function that way.
Did you see Tom Homan when he was asked about this? So
yeah,
I can't play it because it's the only thing I have on it. The sound is not real great. But somebody asked him, what do you think using a 200-year-old law, which we'll get to in a second, that maybe not the right thing to do? And Tom says, the Constitution's older than that. We still pay attention to it.
Yep. Mic drop.
Yeah, because this law was apparently passed in 1798, I think is the date. and it says that the president can remove people if we are at war with a country or if we're being invaded on behalf of another nation or government.
Which a lot of these people, a lot of the Venezuelan gang members have ties to the Maduro regime, who's been funding a lot of their activity up here.
Even if they didn't, even if they weren't, I mean, I think we can make the very easy straight line to their government sent them here.
Yeah. Well, not to mention the war on terror was never officially closed, was it?
No. But we could do this with Mexico too, because they were teaching their people how to come here illegally.
Yep.
We can round them all up and get them to fuck out, because I'm tired of them being here. And I'm tired of the courts being used to allow this shit that is clearly unconstitutional. They have no right to be here. The Logical Mail, thank you. Here's my super chat rant. Illegal aliens are not U.S. citizens, therefore they do not have rights under the U.S. Constitution. The judge is a moron. You're right. They do not have rights under the U.S. Constitution. I mean, they kind of do based on if they're in custody, because then they are under the jurisdiction of the U.S. However, they're not protected by the Constitution the way you and I are. There are certain international treaties we uphold, Jack.
Yeah, reciprocity things.
Yeah. But one of the weirdest things is the deal that we have with illegals that the United States government made with activist groups, where it's things like you can't hold them in prison for too long and nonsense like that. It's why we have the issues we have now.
Yeah.
We need to just say, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. Go fuck yourselves.
Somebody on TV made a really good point. They don't understand. These judges don't understand the logistical problems they cause when they say you have to return these flights. They don't know the security situation. They don't know if they're creating an opening for the gang members to either revolt or organize a welcome back party, so to speak, on the ground back in the U.S. to try and unarrest them. They have no idea of what kind of consequences they're creating. Do the planes even have enough fuel to come back? You know,
I feel like we should send them on a Vince Foster style trip. No,
yeah.
Who's the black guy? Ron Brown trip. The pilot, Indiana Jones, is it out of the fucking cockpit? Good luck.
Bye.
He's got the only, and you know what, Jack? I even say we should leave him a rubber raft just to give him a chance.
Yeah.
It saved Indy.
Maybe they could have an alive scenario.
I have, and can we talk about the fact these are fucking horrible gang members?
Yeah. What disgusting fucking judge wants to protect rapists, murderers, extortionists? Seriously, these are the heroes you're choosing? You're a dangerous traitor.
But if you see this on TV, Adam Schiff was just doing this earlier today. Half the fruit pickers in California are illegals. Who's going to pick all that fruit if we kick them out? Adam, we're not even at the fruit pickers yet. We're still on the child rapists.
Yeah. Did you see Trump and his teams are declaring 700,000 warrants for illegals?
No, but good.
Oh yeah, it's pretty sexy stuff.
I think we should put a one-way door on the border. Go, get out. We won't even take your name. Just leave right now. And if you want to try to, and this is for the non-violent ones, Jack. You want to go through the process? Go ahead. Go get in line. Make it so they don't want to be here. And I'm not talking about being mean to them or violent to them. Just we're not going to support you at all.
Yeah.
And they will leave on their own.
Oh yeah, self-deportation is the goal. I mean, effectively, you'd rather have them leave on their own than you don't have to pay the taxes for it.
Do you know how much money California would save if they stopped paying for illegals? Tens of billions of dollars.
Did you see what Ilhan Omar said about the you invoking the Alien Enemies Act?
I believe I did. I believe I responded to that.
Yeah, a little brother fucker.
I did not call her a brother fucker. I said
I
she
did.
married her brother.
I called her a brother fucker.
Wolfgang, thank you. Hey, Monkey and Jack. Starbucks shares are on sale. Bought some, went into the one that knows me and told the hottie one, hey, my favorite employee. That's a way to break the ice. And hell, you might actually do something with that because she don't know how much you invested. I'm not saying lie to women to get laid. I'm just not saying to lie to women to get laid.
I'm saying there's an ethical gray area, so you do you. Did you see some French politician wants the Statue of Liberty back?
Tell him to come take it. I dare him.
By himself. No wrenches.
Good luck, fucker. I want you guys to pay for your gift to us. You frog. That's the F word I meant to use.
Yeah. Ribbit. Froggers.
Yeah. Why do I keep hitting that button?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, Trump stripped Secret Service protection from Hunter and Ashley Biden.
Good. They don't need it.
Yeah.
This is what Ilhan said. 30 years ago, my family arrived in the United States, a land of hope and opportunity. I'm fighting so everyone can have a real chance at the American dream. That includes making sure everyone has health care, stable housing, and a quality education. You shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
You should be removed with the same law that they're moving Kali with. Because she's not an American citizen by birth. Yeah, she's a refugee who got to stay here when she shouldn't have and married her brother and cheated our immigration system.
Yep, which is grounds for stripping her of her naturalization.
Wolfgang, thank you. Told her that Latip was profit from defense stunk. I don't know if that would impress her. Just saying. But yeah, Miss Ilhan here can go fuck herself. She's not even supposed to be in this country anymore. Go back to Somalia where you belong.
We've got to start deporting more of these so-called refugees from just because they fled a poor country. Like all the dreamers, kick them all the fuck out. I don't even care. ICE doing these 700,000 deportation things was the greatest thing I've seen today. But until it's executed, I'm not going to be happy. Start booting these people out.
Ilhan has overstayed her welcome. She shouldn't be here and go home. Go home. And look, I get it. When you came here, Somalia was a shithole, and it's still a shithole, but it's not the war-torn shithole it was when you left. Go home.
Yeah, it's just a regular old shithole.
Why would I care to impress her? Make my coffee. Thank you, Wolfgang. She's the hottie. I'm assuming you told her that you were her boss to impress her. Are you just being mean to cute chicks?
That's so you got to do it better. You got to be like, oh, you're getting a little chubby.
You're like, did you get that nose from your mom? Do you have your dad's chin? There's one that'll fuck her up for life.
Got a couple wrinkles going in there.
It's so easy to be mean to people because everybody's so insecure. Stop being insecure, you bitches. You look how you look. It's fine. I promise you. There's much uglier people than you, unless you're watching. You know who you are, you ugly motherfucker. Thank you, Wolfgang. I made her laugh. It makes her work better. Fair enough. Anyhow. Want to say again, fuck Ilhan Omar. Go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. What was the other thing Trump did today? Oh yeah, Trump's declaring Biden's pardons to be invalid because they were signed with an Autopen.
Yeah, that's one that's going to end up having to go to the courts, and I'm not sure how the court. I'm not sure how the Supreme Court will handle that because it's going to have to go all the way up to there. And by the time it
Oh,
does,
absolutely.
most of these fuckers will be gone anyway.
Well, imagine this. They call Biden as a witness.
Yeah, no shit.
He just
Retro,
wanders
thank you.
around the building and he poops himself.
Retro, thank you. The American Society of Magical Negroes. That's month number 21 as a member. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you.
Thanks for supporting the channel, man.
It's funny you say the word Negroes because I was thinking about games before the stream, and it reminded me of WoW, because the developers of WoW have been accused of racism in the past, and it's like, that's not racist. And then they come out with the Worgen, which is this, they're the werewolves of it, and spelled backwards, it's Negro.
Oh, oops.
And it's like, nope, nobody caught that, huh? It's clearly word for wolf, warg, but maybe Worgen was the wrong way to go. Maybe. Although playing as the Worgen, they were badass, so there's worse thing. At least you're not the what are the little ones called? The gnomes. That's what it is. Wolfgang, thank you. Her work makes me money, means more. I can tip her. Fair enough. What'd you say, Trump? Oh, we were talking about the Biden pardons. There's a lot of stuff that Biden supposedly signed with the Autopen, and I think they can probably legally make the argument that he did that because he didn't have the capacity to sign it well.
Yeah, but if he didn't have the capacity to sign it, was he cognitively aware of what he was signing?
See, that's the thing. You're not going to be able to prove. Look, you and I have seen all the stuff. We know he wasn't cognitively able to. But if you're talking about it from a legal perspective, yeah, you can, because you can't prove otherwise unless you're gonna look at all the tape and be like, he's clearly not there. And I don't know if the judges would allow that kind of speculation without a medical diagnosis. So I think when it comes down to it, it'll probably go to the... Go ahead, bud.
No, go ahead. I was cutting you off. I didn't realize it.
No. Yeah, we picked up our famous lag. It's going to go to the Supreme Court, and I think what they'll decide is that, yeah, it's going to stand. Maybe we'll end up with some new rules about having to have it notarized or something to show he did know what was going on, although we all know he didn't.
Yeah.
Nobody who watched that debate thinks that when he signed that fucking pardon for everybody at the end there that he knew what he was signing. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jay.
No, there's no way, man. They may not be able to prove it, but it's just common sense. He was not cognitively able to do pretty much anything. So even if they're going to have to say, no, you can't use an auto pen anymore, because otherwise it's going to be another Weekend at Bernie's situation like this somewhere down the road, where you've got a president that should be 25th, but there's some staffer that's signing all this stuff for him, and that has his buddy be the witness. There's too much risk that somebody is taking advantage.
Yeah, nobody can do that with Trump because he's doing it all in public. He loves signing that shit in public.
True. Plus, have you seen his signature? Good luck copying that. Jeez. My doctor has better handwriting.
No super chats, Monk. What? What do you mean no super chats? Did they stop working? Or did I miss one? No, I think I got them all. Yeah, they were working. I'm not sure what's going on there, Retro. Anyway. It's going to be an interesting legal case, Jack, and it is going to come down to we can't really know. I mean, sure, we know, but legally we can't really know. So I think it's all going to end up standing unless there's some rule that's written somewhere that it has to be signed by the president in pen by his own hand.
Yeah, they can find somebody that's going to turn on him, or they got recordings or something, but I don't know. I think it's definitely going to be an interesting one. I think they're going to say that in future you can't use it anymore. You can't sign pardons that way.
Bullwinkle, thank you, says working. Adabisi, thank you, says testing. That's a couple that say that shows it's working. I think everybody should try just to make sure. Maybe it's not working for everybody. Everybody should try donating right now.
Yeah, you should try our Streamlabs too, just to make sure. Large amounts are better because we got to test the full range, you know.
Indeed.
Speaking of which, thank you, Evolved Potato. Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure there's some proof that Biden wasn't even at the White House when some of the pardons were signed at the White House. Like there's digital records of someone else using the Autopen to sign them. That might be a big deal then.
Yes, that would be, because it would be proof he wasn't even that he was not there when it happened, and you could even make the argument at that point that he didn't even know it was happening.
Yeah.
So you'd have to prove that he had signed off on it, and even his own word wouldn't necessarily be enough. Thank you, Comrade Kitty, who says testing have to jack. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Comrade Kitty.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anything of the president should be signed auto-sign. And look, maybe if the president was in some weird accident and lost both of his hands, fine. But even then, I think he should bite the pen to do it. It should be, even if, I would take a president signing an X on the dotted line with his mouth because he had no arms before I would take Autopen as legal. But that's me, and I don't get to make those decisions.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, but you're right.
Retro, thank you so much. You skipping super chats, Monkey? No, Retro, I've read all of them. Now I feel like I missed one, Jack. If I go over to where I can see fan funding, I've got all the ones that I see.
Yeah, you got Retros, you got all the Wolfgangs. I don't see any others.
Yeah, me neither. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there, Retro.
Sorry,
Retro,
man.
Can you hear me right now?
Well, yeah, you probably can. He didn't go deaf. He's having problems with the internet.
You only care about money. That's not true. I care about things I can buy with money.
That's true. Also, I like food, which I can get with money. I like having a place to live, which requires money. I like whores, which
I can get love with money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we don't only care about money. It's just the facilitator for the stuff we do care about.
Yeah. So how dare you besmirch me like that? How dare you, sir? How dare you indeed? Oh my goodness. All right. We got to wrap this up here soon. So I really need to do a game stream tonight, man. The other night didn't work out because I took off my headphones and we had a 2-day storm, Jack.
Oh, lovely.
I took off my headphones and I hear because there's thunder outside. Oh, dude, my local golf course, the clubhouse got hit by lightning and burned down.
Damn. Good thing you weren't there.
That's God telling me, Monkey, you're never going to play golf again. But yeah,
I think you do that already. You just didn't admit it to yourself.
I keep trying, or I keep thinking, because I went to the virtual golf place and that fucked me all up. But I keep thinking I could get back out to at least to the driving range. I can do a little bit, hit a couple of balls.
Really?
Yes. I want to try that this year. And I'll still go there because they're not shutting down. They're going to rebuild the clubhouse and they're still going to run this season. Which is great because I do love that golf course. But anyway, so yeah, Retro was behind. Cool.
Well, when they find you at the
go ahead, bud.
Look, you'll get to like the third hole and you'll be laying there in immense pain, and somebody will be like, I'll carry you back, and you'll be like, no, that'll make it worse.
I won't pay for a round until I've played it, until I've gone to the driving range and see how well I can do there. Because look, I do not walk a golf course because I'm lazy as shit. So if I can manage the swing mechanics, I'll play around. If I can't manage that, then yeah, well, I'll just be like, all right, they were right.
Are you allowed to play golf like Polo, where you just stay in the golf cart and smack the ball as you drive by?
Technically, no, but they'd have to catch you. So,
Yeah, you're already in the golf cart.
and the worst they do is kick you out. And Michigan, at one point, I don't know if it's still the same, but had more golf courses than any other state.
Wow.
Yeah, in a state that you can't golf for half the year. Why is Andrew Tate stealing something on my screen right now?
Yeah, they do it just to piss you off.
All right, here we go.
Oh, this is funny.
Just wondering if any of you would be interested in a one night stand.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, I see what he did there.
Oh
Would you be interested?
God. No.
You know, you can have my
You
car.
know-
I'd have to give
Wait,
you.
why can't I pause
it?
this?
And he left. He couldn't handle the hilarity. Andrew Tate's a sex trafficking freak. He's probably a sex trafficker. Yeah, probably a rapist as well. I'm so lonely, so sad and lonely. Whoopsie. Yeah, he got pissed and left. Yeah, well, we can't end the show until he comes back. This internet tends to give her out around the 145 mark. Why does Trump like him? I don't know. Why can't I pause this exit? Yeah, it's pretty classic, isn't it?
What the fuck?
What'd you do?
All of my browsers shut down.
Oh, that's weird.
And there's still, most of them have opened back up, but there's two that still haven't. One, the Twitter video we were just watching, and my alerts for Streamlabs.
You know, ever since I got the new Windows update, shit's gone wrong on my computer. Like, if it goes into sleep mode, the audio shuts off entirely, so I can't hear anything, and I have to restart the computer.
Yeah, and I just had a major update the other day. Actually, I had two of them back to back. Fuck. Hang on. I'm trying to get back to where we were, Jack.
No, you're good. You're good.
And if by classic monkey you guys meant my shit always fucks up, yeah, you're right. But I didn't do anything this time.
No, I think it was something to do with the Windows update because my system's been acting really weird. Shit's opening slow. And none of that happened before.
I went to pause the video to say something and it wouldn't pause and it wouldn't pause. And I'm like, why won't this pause? And it all just blanked off. Like, huh. Well, then. What I was going to say, though, excuse me, is that those girls had the right reaction to that joke he was making.
He offered them his cock.
So many women would have got offended by this and been like, how dare you, sir? But these girls are laughing at the joke, and good on them. That's all I wanted.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Just wondering if any of you would be interested in a one night stand.
We don't know. Oh my
Would you be interested?
God. No.
You know, you can have my cock. I'd have to give you a cream pie, though.
No.
You want a cream pie?
Anyhow, yeah. Good on him and good on them for. See, that's a prank that I approve of, Jack.
Yeah, because it's funny. It has a sense of humor about it. It's not going to hurt anyone, and it's silly. It's mildly sexual innuendo, but you could have put that on candid camera in the 70s and probably gotten away with it.
Maybe not the cock one, but the rest of it for sure. We're talking the 70s. They were little. That's when you couldn't say cock.
Yeah, you could. Well, cock.
I know, but still. Standards and practices, my friend. Standards.
Double entendre's beautiful.
I wonder if he got a date out of that. I don't know. When bald guys with full beards, if you're not like Arabian and in a Indiana Jones movie, I just don't trust you.
Especially if you don't have a mustache. But
Yeah.
if you're bald and you're gonna have a beard, have the Picard ring, okay? You know that little strip of hair that goes around your head. That
Yeah, the
didn't
public
fall
toilet
out.
seat is what I call it.
Yeah, just keep that then. Like, because not everybody looks good with a shaved head, especially with the beard. It looks terrible.
Few people can pull it off. There are a couple of people who do it okay, but most of y'all, you don't look as cool as you think you do.
Yeah. You're imitating somebody that pulled it off, and it ain't you, buddy.
Okay, and on that note, Jack, we are going to wrap this one up. I cannot believe that shit did that to me.
No, of course it did.
I don't understand why. Anyhow, it's going to drive me nuts for the rest of the night, especially if it happens again. So, thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us tonight. Don't forget, we're probably not going to learn anything tomorrow, even if they do drop a lot of the JFK files and it's new stuff. The people who pore over this, it takes them a while to find something interesting.
Yeah.
Although theoretically, this should be all of the, call it the worst of the worst, the stuff they've been holding back. You know, we have to do a national security review. It's been 62 years. Sorry, 61 and a half. We haven't had a chance to do that yet.
What gets me is when they said that about the Epstein files.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean a national security review?
Yeah. I
What are
mean,
you trying to
anything
tell
that's, well, technically anything that's classified, if the president himself doesn't do it, it's got to go through a review like that, the 14-day thing.
That means cover up.
But why was it classified in the first place?
To keep us from knowing the truth. The aliens did it.
We need to stop all of the classified bullshit. I don't know how you do that either, Jack, but
And the Pleiadian menace now. Oh, sorry.
it's got to be somebody other than a government official who just wants to feel powerful by, I see classified stuff. Like that's your itinerary for the day, and you're sitting in your office. That doesn't need to be classified.
Yeah, that's dumb.
So anyway, I don't expect much to come from it. I really hope we get an answer. I don't trust our government.
Yeah, I just want to see some arrests made on the Epstein and Diddy lists. They're not going to fucking do it. They're going to drag their feet on all this shit. And this release is going to be a nothing. So it's just more of the same distraction until we forget about what's really going on.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Thank you for the donations. You guys are so kind. Jack, anything you want to chill out?
I dropped some links to some cool videos. But as always, thank you guys so much for all the support you give us, all the donations, all the likes and subscribes, and everything you do. And don't forget to check out all our links in the description. And yeah, we love you guys. Your best audience on the internet.
If things go well, I may be game streaming in just a little while. Don't count on it for tonight, though. You know what? We just won't do it tonight. We'll do it tomorrow. And I said I need to get a game stream done, Jack, and then I immediately am like, no. And the reason for that is I need to go to sleep. My sleep schedule is even weirder than usual right now, so I'm gonna go get some shut eye, as the cool kids say.
Oh yeah.
Can you call it shut eye if you're one of those people who doesn't actually close their eyes all the way when they sleep?
Partial shut eye, a jar eye. I don't know. That's
My
a
wife
weird
does
one.
that. Occasionally, I'll roll over and she'll be staring at me, and she's asleep. And like,
Oh, dude, I knew this chick that slept with her eyes open. It was the scariest fucking thing ever.
my granddaughter does. Actually, a couple of my granddaughters do it. It's creepy when little kids are staring at you in their sleep.
Yeah. If they take up sleepwalking, you're gonna have fucking nightmare fuel.
Speaking of game streams, have you seen the new Bleasdale map on Phasmo. I haven't. I saw they did one, but I haven't checked it out yet. Did they fuck it up? Because the farmhouses were always my favorite on Phasmo, so hopefully they didn't fuck them up. And if they do Grafton and they change it at all, I might riot in the street. Ladies and gentlemen, take care of yourselves. Jack, a pleasure as always, my friend.
Always glad to be here.
Love you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Bye now.
Bye, everybody.
Song.